Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we're looking at the tropics and the upcoming weather for our area. First, I'd like to say that the audio quality in the videos are going to be going up because of the microphone I got. So that'll be good for following along and being easier to understand in the videos. To start off for the tropics, we're looking at the West Pacific with Tropical Storm Doksuri, which was a typhoon but has made landfall in China and has now areas of just disorganized showers and maybe thunderstorms. Looking at the other Western Pacific storm which is Tropical Storm Kanun. It has a chance of developing into a very significant typhoon and impacting China and the Koreas and possibly Japan. The GFS ensemble is showing track generally to the northwest before turning north and then northeast into the Korean Peninsula. I believe it'll probably make a close path to China before moving out to sea and possibly making landfall in North Korea or South Korea. That looks to be the most likely a sequence of events as of now. The Joint Typhoon Warning Center is going with around 35 knots right now, and has it peaking at around 105 knots. It thinks the system will make landfall in China, but I believe this is a possibility, but could also move out to sea as well. Yeah, the forecast cyclone track, you notice that it's moving northwest, but beyond that, we could see the curve to the north and eventually the northeast towards the Korean Peninsula. Now going on to the global and hurricane models, we see similar with that. Some of the models are still going towards China, just north of Taiwan, but you'll notice the GFS in particular has it going curving northeast into the Korean Peninsula. This is the current location of the low pressure system in the Western Pacific. Now moving on to a highlight of the North Atlantic right now, we have Invest 96L, and we'll see there's disorganized areas of showers and thunderstorms, which are trying to develop. In the next few days, we have there's a very small chance of it will form, but then over the next 7 days and beyond, it has a higher chance of developing and possibly impacting the North Atlantic. The model intensity guidance has it expected to become a tropical storm. Not expected, but it has a chance of becoming a tropical storm within the next few days, and then a higher chance as we get farther out into the week. It has a chance of getting into Category 1, and I believe it has a good shot at getting Category 2 status, but it is too early to say whether that will happen to be sure. And then looking at the models, the tracks and intensity, we see the system will definitely be moving to the northwest before making a turn to the north, and then likely going just to the east of Maritime Canada. So it doesn't look like there'll be too many land threats with this system. And with the GEFS, we see a similar story with the system eventually becoming stronger as it heads the north of the latitude of Bermuda, so around 32.5 degrees north. We start to see some more significant development into a tropical storm or potentially weak Category 1. Looking at the Atlantic, we see Invest 96L, which the NHC has been really good with these forecast chances. The formation within the next 48 hours is around 20%, which makes sense. It is a low chance. And then the next 7 days, a 60% chance, which as time goes on throughout the week, chances will become higher and higher for development, I believe, until we get to around 60%. I think over time the system's chances may go up a little bit, so we might see a 70% or 80% as we get farther along in the week. This system we were tracking recently has a 0% chance of forming, but it is going to be impacting the southeast with some rain. A weak area, a low pressure has moved just inland near the Florida Georgia border, according to the National Hurricane Center. And then this previous disturbance we've been tracking, previously 95L, has a 10% chance of forming within the next 48 hours before crossing over Nicaragua and then entering the Eastern Pacific. I do not believe this system will form, however. I think the time has ran out. But as you'll see on the Eastern Pacific side, the same system is going to be crossing over and has a high chance of forming as we get into next week. So in the next 7 days, the energy has a 70% chance. I believe it might be as we get farther, we'll get higher and higher in chances, but it does not look like this system will be impacting Mexico, fortunately. Looking at the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, you'll just see Kunan and Doksuri in the Western Pacific. Kunan just to the east of the Philippines and to the south of Japan, and we could be seeing some development with that one. Doksuri is weakening. You'll see that it has moved inland into China. Now, looking at the local weather, we're looking at New York City right now. We have a heat advisory along with a lot of Long Island and the rest of the Northeast. Today we could see temperatures in the mid 90s before we go to a low of around 80. And then on Saturday we could see a high of around 90 with a chance of severe weather. We'll be getting into that. And then next week looks like it could be cooler. We could be seeing in the low 80s to maybe mid 80s. And then at night we're gonna have more comfortable temperatures in the mid 60s at night. Looking at the only thing we have posted here is air quality alert and a heat advisory, but that is expected to get better as we get into next week. So let's hope that the cool weather that is forecast will come to fruition. Looking at the severe weather, we have an enhanced risk today. We have a chance of scattered hail with severe thunderstorms, some of which may be large hail. The enhanced risk is because of the wind threat, 30% chance. So we need to be looking out for that. And then the tornado, we should only see isolated tornadoes, if any, and only a few, if any, areas. Looking at Saturday, we have another slight risk for the Mid-Atlantic, and then a slight risk back in the Great Plains. For the risks as of now, we have mainly wind on the East Coast, as well as in the Great Plains, and then the same thing with hail, just a slightly lower threat on the East Coast, and then only isolated tornadoes possible along the I-95 corridor as the day goes on tomorrow. And then on Sunday, the thunderstorm threat should be diminishing for the Northeast, and I don't think we'll see too much upgrade with these marginal risks. We could see a small slight risk, but I believe this will not be a big day with severe weather. And this is a smaller general thunderstorm risk compared with especially today, but also tomorrow. Alright, looking at the current radar, we see some severe weather warnings going on for the Ohio Valley. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in this line. You see this kind of bowing out. That's indicating a possible wind threat with these storms. And then going to the south, we see some scattered thunderstorms across Alabama and Georgia. As this system moves onshore, it is, of course, not going to form as we mentioned, but it's bringing these scattered thunderstorms across the south, especially in Alabama and Georgia. There are also thunderstorms occurring right now, along with some scattered showers in Florida. We see this movement onshore onto Florida. and some special marine warnings. Possible water spouts with these systems, with this system, in these scattered showers and thunderstorms, but nothing too hazardous at today. Just some isolated severe thunderstorm warnings look possible, and you'll notice some thunderstorms popping up right now in Pennsylvania. All right, now looking at the Storm Prediction Center, we have a severe thunderstorm watch, which is far from the enhanced risk. I believe there'll probably be some more severe thunderstorm watches coming up. There are also some storms possible today in Maine. That is with the mesoscale discussion. Nothing else up as of now, aside from the mesoscale discussion for northern Virginia. There's some severe thunderstorms possible with localized damaging wind, according to the Storm Prediction Center. And there's been a couple wind reports in the Ohio Valley and actually in Colorado as well on the western end of the threat. Thunderstorm outlook. The blues indicate a higher risk of thunderstorms, and then especially near that enhanced risk, we have that red 70% with thunderstorms more likely. We also have that back in the west, in the northern plains in Montana. Finally, one of the last things we'll look at is the critical fire threat for the west. That continued area, that risk is in similar areas, starting to pop up now for more of Oregon and Washington. This will probably be continuing on for some time. But you'll notice there's actually a marginal risk today for Arizona. That is with the monsoonal activity. For Saturday, there's just a general thunderstorm risk. And on Sunday, we have another general thunderstorm risk. So hopefully there's some heat relief coming up soon. There is some showers and thunderstorms possible, so that hopefully that will bring some relief to any drought that is forming. All right, now looking at tropical tidbits for the upcoming weather. Let's look at the northeast. This is for tomorrow's thunderstorms right now. So today, Friday the 28th, we have isolated thunderstorms possible here. More likely just passing shower, very light and brief as possible. But as we get into Saturday, we'll have a high of around 90, and these stronger to severe thunderstorms possible. You'll notice there's a lot of pink showing up on the radar. That's indicating the possible hail. So you'll see these thunderstorms stretching from here, and then possibly as far south as Virginia and Kentucky, these smaller areas. So we have to be watching for some severe thunderstorms capable of producing isolated tornadoes and possibly even frequent lightning and heavy rain, along with the damaging winds and some hail. Looking after Saturday, on Sunday we just see some residual showers and isolated thunderstorms as we move farther south of West Virginia and Virginia. But then we see more thunderstorms up in Canada. So that would be overnight Sunday going into Monday. Finally, looking at the GFS, we see coming up, we have rain possible early next week, probably just showers and isolated thunderstorms. But as we get into later in the week, we could be seeing some severe weather and possibly severe weather along with thunderstorms and showers late week into the weekend. Looking even farther out, we see some more rain. So the pattern right now looks to be more rainy, but we might see some heat relief next week before we see some an uptick in severe weather. That is going to do it for today. Thank you for watching.